Cassie opened the blinds to check if the delivery guy had dropped off the morning eggs, and froze. Her heart skipped. Lined up along both sides of the road, engines rumbling low and steady, were 200 bikers in full leather, helmets on, arms crossed, all facing her tiny diner. Just one night earlier, she'd stood between a gray-haired biker and 2 loud cops who were pushing him out of her restaurant. She didn't know his name, didn't know his past. She only knew one thing. They were treating him like dirt, and she wasn't going to let it happen. Hey everyone, welcome to Legacy Tales. Let's begin. The diner was half empty that night. Rain tapped against the windows, and Cassie was wiping down tables, humming something soft. Her father used to own the place. Now it was hers, along with the debt, the creaky freezer, and a jukebox that only played country music from the 80s. Then the door creaked open. A man walked in. Black leather jacket, helmet under one arm, beard long and gray like smoke. His boots thudded heavily on the tile floor. He didn't say a word, just sat at the corner booth and ordered coffee. Nothing else. 15 minutes later, 2 police officers walked in. Not the usual local guys. Outsiders. Uniforms still wet from the rain. They spotted the biker instantly. Walked straight over. "Move along," one of them said. "You're not welcome here." Cassie turned from the counter. "Excuse me?" The officer glanced at her. "We've had issues with guys like him in other towns." The biker didn't respond, just kept sipping his coffee. Cassie walked over slowly. "You know him?" the officer asked her. "No," she replied, "but I know he hasn't done anything wrong here." The second cop stepped closer to the table. "We're just doing our job, ma'am. These people come through 'cause problems." Cassie's voice sharpened. "These people..." He paid for his coffee, sat quiet. "If you're here to arrest a crime, show a warrant. Otherwise, you're disturbing my customer." A beat of silence. The older cop sighed, muttered something under his breath, and walked out. His partner followed. The biker looked up at her for the first time. His eyes were glassy, wounded, grateful. He slid a 20 under his mug and said just 2 words before leaving. "Thank you." That was it. That's all that happened. Until the next morning, when the rumble of 200 motorcycles filled the air like thunder, Cassie's hands trembled as she stood at the window. Across the street, bikes stretched like a leather wall, chrome glinting under the morning sun. Some had black flags tied to the handlebars. Others had worn out saddlebags and patches with names she didn't recognize: Iron Sons, Bloodhawks, Southern Howlers. She counted at least 10 different biker clubs, but they weren't revving engines. They weren't shouting or making a scene. They were just waiting. One of them, a huge man with arms like steel beams and a tattoo that ran up his neck, stepped off his Harley. He took off his helmet, walked to the diner's door, and gently opened it, so gently it barely made a sound. Cassie backed up behind the counter, confused, heartbeat pounding. He nodded politely. "You Cassie?" She hesitated. "Yeah?" He stuck out his hand. "Name's Brick. You stood up for our brother last night." "Is he okay?" she asked. Brick smiled. "Better than okay. Word travels fast in our world, ma'am. One of us gets treated with respect. We remember." Cassie looked past him, out at the sea of leather and chrome. "I didn't know who he was." "You didn't need to," Brick said. "You just knew he was being treated wrong. That's all we care about." She felt her breath hitch. Brick pulled something out of his jacket, a folded piece of paper. He laid it on the counter. It was a photo. Old. Cracked at the edges. It showed a younger version of the man from last night, the gray-bearded biker, standing beside a teenage girl in a hospital gown. Her hair was gone, but her smile, bright as fire. "My daughter," Brick said quietly. He sat with her for 3 days straight while I was stuck 2 states away in traffic. Wouldn't leave her side. Told her stories. Kept her laughing. She passed 6 days later. But she told me that man made her feel like she wasn't dying, just living in slow motion. Cassie looked down at the photo, lips parted. He saved her spirit, Brick said. You saved his. Before she could speak, Brick nodded to someone outside. The rest of the bikers dismounted slowly and formed a line, not to intimidate, but to enter. They didn't shout or cheer. They quietly walked in, one by one, and each of them ordered something. Pies, coffee, pancakes, sandwiches. Every single table was taken in minutes. Cassie stood frozen as her tiny diner, usually lucky to have 5 customers before noon, filled with laughter and warm conversation. Her one cook, Davy, peeked out from the kitchen, jaw dropped. Are we being robbed or blessed right now? Cassie exhaled shakily and grabbed a stack of menus. We're being seen, Davy. That's what this is. The bell above the door jingled non-stop as bikers came and went for hours. Cassie and Davy worked without pause, pouring coffee, flipping eggs, refilling syrup jars like their lives depended on it. But it didn't feel stressful. It felt alive. Like something special was unfolding, and every second mattered. And the customers? Not what the movies show. They weren't rowdy. They weren't rude. They wiped their tables, tipped generously. One of them, a quiet man with grease on his hands and teardrop tattoos under both eyes, offered to fix the broken jukebox. Free of charge, he said. It deserves to sing again. Cassie smiled. Then, sometime after lunch, just when she thought the day couldn't surprise her anymore, someone stepped through the door she hadn't seen in over a year. Sheriff Grady. The same one who used to stop by every Sunday for coffee and a donut. The same one who stopped coming after her father died, when whispers began that her diner was slipping. He looked around, clearly stunned by the scene. Cass, he said slowly, what in God's name did you do? Cassie didn't answer right away. She just poured him his usual coffee without asking. Then she said softly, I told 2 men last night to treat someone like a human. He chuckled. Looks like it paid off. But she shook her head. I didn't do it for that. And that was the moment the door opened again. The gray-bearded biker, the one from the night before, stepped in. But this time, he wasn't alone. A little girl clung to his hand. Cassie blinked. She remembered now the picture Brick had shown her. This was his granddaughter. The biker walked up to the counter. Told her we were going somewhere important today. Somewhere kind. He set down a small box on the counter. Cassie opened it slowly. Inside was a pin, a biker club emblem, shaped like a winged heart. Under it, a hand-carved sign, Honorary Member, The Last Line Diner. She looked at him, eyes filled. You didn't have to do this. He nodded toward the door, where the 200 bikers still waited. Some were polishing their bikes. Some were handing out water bottles to locals who'd stopped by to watch. Yes, he said. We did. As the sun dipped behind the hills, Cassie stepped outside. The air was thick with engine smoke and the scent of fresh waffles. Someone started playing a harmonica. Someone else lit a campfire in the lot beside the diner, a safe one, with bricks and sand, just like her father used to build. And one by one, the bikers began telling stories. Not about fights, not about roads, but about moments when a stranger had shown them decency. A nod, a hot drink, a place to sit without judgment. Cassie listened to every word. And that night, when the last bike finally left and the sky was black and silent again, She looked at her empty tables and whispered, "This place isn't a diner anymore. It's a reminder." Because sometimes all it takes is standing up for one person to be surrounded by an army of loyalty the next day.